How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Something has been happening in the last 2 or 3 weeks that has really been affecting us as Driveaway drivers. And I wanted to go over that with you guys really quick. There's a couple things actually I wanted to kind of give you guys an update on. I've had a couple people message me, ask me how it's been, being out here under these circumstances. And so I just wanted to make a video about it. So grab a cup of coffee, water, beer, tea, whatever you guys like, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I noticed it before I read anything on the internet or anything like that. But there has been a shortage of rental cars throughout the country. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little tricky getting back to Goshen. My plan that the way I do it, it's a little pricier than what probably a lot of people think you should do, but as a solo female, it's what I feel comfortable with. Especially in Chicago. Midway is kind of on the southern part. It's not right in the bad area or anything, but it's kind of starting to get down into the southern end of Chicago, and I don't know where those borders or anything are. So just to keep myself safe and not look like a giant tourist on the on the trains or anything, what I like to do is when I fly into Midway, is get a one-way rental from Enterprise to Goshen, and then I'm just done with it. That way, if I get in late, I can just get the car, get to the hotel, and then have the rental for a whole day. Don't have to worry. I can just take my time getting back to Goshen, getting back to my car. To me, it's a lot less stressful. Okay, I'm a weird person. Okay, I'm the kind of person that I will spend a few extra dollars if it makes me feel better. I have like serious anxiety issues, that kind of stuff. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right? Some people have no problem at 1 o'clock in the morning jumping on a train in the middle of Chicago by themselves, doing whatever to get back to Goshen. I am not that person, okay? So what I do is not the, know all, say all. It's what I feel comfortable with doing. So that's why I do it, right? So anyways, with all that being said, my plan has been disrupted. It was a flawless plan. I'm starting to sound like Trump. It's a flawless, very simple plan. It's a little bit extra compared to going public transportation, but it worked for me. I felt comfortable, I felt safe, and that's more important to me, right? So that's what I would do. Well, if you are looking to book a rental car within the same week that you need it, you're probably not going to get one right now. So what has happened is, this is all the ripple effect from last year when we all shut down, right? When everybody shut down to 2-week, minimize the spread, blah, blah, blah. This is the ripple effect we're going to start seeing. And this is going to take a long time for these companies to kind of bounce back from, okay? But here's what happened, is when everything shut down, rental companies, in order for them to, kind of make something, or at least not lose as much money, they sold a lot of their inventory off, okay? They ran bare bones, bare minimum, because a lot of people weren't traveling during that time. Well, the problem with this, and I totally get that from a business perspective, okay, that makes logical sense. Anybody with like some semblance of a brain would do the same thing, right? However, that same person has not replenished their inventory correctly. So instead of, you know, and I'm not an expert, but this is what I would have done. There's probably some, you know, piece of information I'm missing that doesn't allow them to do this. I know they had to buy a certain amount from different manufacturers to be fleet sales and all that. I get that part, but what I would have done is, as things started to open up, I would have slowly started to replenish the inventory of these locations, especially the bigger areas, the bigger cities. And they didn't do that. And so now everybody is traveling. Everybody is tired of the mandates and all this stuff. I get it, okay? Everybody's kind of tired of it now. And everybody's like just saying, okay, well, I'm just gonna do it anyway. And there's no rentals because the demand is higher than what there is to hand out. So what that means is, if you actually do find the rental, it's like 3 times the price it was compared to last year. Okay, now I've been very lucky. By God's grace, I have been super lucky that I have been able to plan out far enough that I was able to get a rental to still keep doing what I do. The problem is it's almost 3 times the amount of what I was originally paying. Typically, with Enterprise is who I go with, because you get like points and stuff that you can use for like a free rental or whatever. Typically what I did, it was between $90 and $110 for a one-way rental. Okay. Now it's almost $200. So I'm sorry, it's twice the price. It's not 3 times. I can do math, I promise. It's twice as much as it used to be, not 3 times as much. But so it's, you know, it is putting a hurt on profits. Okay, this is something you guys need to be aware of. I believe I've said it before in a previous video, but something when you are planning your trips, you need to, if you don't have a tow car behind you, you need to make sure that you are close to a major city. Okay, you need access to Uber and Lyft very easily, and that it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. So that's something that you really have got to pay attention to right now. Because if you get to, let's say, an hour and a half outside of Dallas, okay, you are in BFE, Texas, you're an hour and a half outside of Dallas, there's no Uber, there's no Lyft, and all the rentals are taken up, you're gonna have a really hard time getting down there to your flight if you're leaving out of Dallas. Okay, so you've really got to plan and make sure that you have more than just one option too. Okay, have your Uber and Lyft as your first option, but see if there's an Amtrak or something available just in case something happens. Okay, and you never know. You never know. The Uber and Lyft app could go down. They could shut down those businesses tomorrow. You never know. So make sure you always have at least a plan B just in case something happens. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that, you know, you should be paying attention to this kind of thing anyway, but especially right now with the rentals so scarce and so expensive, make sure you're staying as close to those major cities as possible, because you're going to really have a hard time if you don't. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is airlines. Airplane tickets, they have gone up considerably. Again, the price of fuel has gone up, and the amount of people wanting to travel is starting to rise even more. So therefore, they are going to try and make back as much money as they can from, you know, the past year where they have been just gigantic losses. They're trying to make that back up. Okay, you know, there was this fantastic sale going on with Southwest, $45 tickets. It was great. You're not really seeing that anymore. Tickets are typically between $100 to $300, depending on what time, if it's nonstop, one stop, what locations, you know, that kind of thing. I've still found that flying into Midway with Southwest is the cheapest. It is still lower than if you fly directly into Goshen or South Bend, but they have gone up. There's another cut to your profits, and that, you know, you guys need to be aware of that as well. The last thing I want to go over with you guys is obviously fuel prices. I know a lot of people say that it's because of a certain administration, you know, whatever the case may be. You should always plan for the worst case scenario, okay? When I budget myself, when I was in a semi, I would budget my fuel at $3.50 a mile, or excuse me, $3.50 a gallon. That way I would never, at least back then, I would never, you know, hit above that mark. I was budgeted for it, okay? I knew, worst case scenario, when fuel gets this much, I can still make it on this budget, okay? So I highly recommend you guys over budget. That way when you are less than what you budgeted, you have more money in your pockets, okay? But that's not more money to spend. That's more money to just save, put back in case things get worse. And this is why it's super important, even though if you don't have a tow car, you might think that you don't need a maintenance account, but I do recommend putting a certain amount of cents per mile back, just in case of, you know, situations like this. So yeah, so you really got to plan out almost over a week in advance. So what I've been doing, I've been kind of switching it up a little bit, is after I do my pre-plan to see if it's gonna be worth it, if it's gonna, you know, give me a decent amount of profits and stuff, the first thing I do is I book my rental. And I book it for far out, but not too far out. Like, it's kind of a, you know, if, for example, if I'm going to Vegas, I will say, okay, it's going to take me 4 days to get to Vegas. So I need to plan for my rental the day after. And then I will go ahead and book it out. And then I will plan my deliveries and everything around, you know, I'll talk to the delivery guy and say, okay, can I deliver on this date? And if he won't let me, I'll adjust, but I at least get my name in the hat for that rental, just to have it. Because like right now, rentals are kind of like gold. They can be very expensive if you're not careful, and they're very hard to find if you need them. So guys, just make sure you're not, I don't want to see anybody, you know, get out there and you're, you know, an hour and a half away from where you're flying out of, and there's no way for you to get there. So just make sure you're really planning, especially on your rentals and your airline tickets. It's still cheaper in, you know, if you're driving a good distance, but I don't know, if you've already got the equipment, taking a tow car might be the best for right now until the whole situation with the rentals kind of calms down. But just please keep that in mind, because they are very hard to find right now. So fuel prices, I mean, it's to be expected. Fuel prices fluctuate all the time. People are very upset about it. You know, they're blaming this person or that person, or because of this or that. And you know, you always have to plan for the worst case scenario. That's the best advice I can give you. It was, you know, it's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. There's not much that we can do about it. So there's still profit in this industry. You just have to be very diligent with what you're doing. If it gets much worse, I would probably tell people to hold off. If gas prices you know, if they get over a certain point, I would tell people to hold off, because you are not making a lot afterwards. Right now we're not there. There's still profit. You just have to really be diligent, especially with a rental situation if you need a car for whatever reason. But there's a lot of options. There are people in Goshen that do shuttle services for Driveaway drivers. I am trying to get that contact information. That way I have it available. That way if you guys need it, you can just email me. I don't want to blast their information all over the internet. But I'm trying to get some information from a few drivers and, you know, talk to them about rates, or, you know, do they not go after a certain time, or no trips on weekend, you know, whatever the case may be. So, gotta see if I can get that together, just to kind of give us, you know, an alternative option that, you know, would keep us safe, but might be a little bit cheaper than, you know, renting a car. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to make you guys aware of what's going on. Triple checking your airline tickets. I found checking days around the day you want to leave, even like the day after, it can be significantly less. And even going to a different airport, if you can find a way over there that's not going to ruin your budget, is also an option as well. I did that. I dropped in Wichita one time, and then I drove up to Kansas City because it was like $140 cheap. It was some ridiculous amount cheaper, and it was nonstop. Whereas out of Wichita it was like 2 stops. It was ridiculous. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this week. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them down below. I was a little behind on my comments earlier this week, but I have caught up to them. So if you guys have any additional questions, please let me know. Feel free to email me. I am on Instagram. I will leave the name down here somewhere for you guys. You can message me over there as well. That's probably one of the best ways to do it, honestly, if you have like a lot of stuff you want to ask me. Emails, I do have emails, but sometimes it gets kind of hidden from me because of all the crap I get in that email address right now. So but yeah, thanks guys, I appreciate it. I will see you guys next video.